guys, welcome back to Melanin Meetings. This episode here is one of my favorite ones so far. That's why I'm hosting, of course. So in this episode, we're literally going to throw it all the way back to a time where it was just stress-free, makeup-free, music was good, food was lit, the dances, everything was amazing. And of course, it's the time where was I born? Not really.
Well, yeah, well, 90s. That's that's what
I am a 90s baby. So yeah, it was the time I was born. We were born. I'm not too sure about Olga, but yeah, we were born. But anyway, yes, we're talking about the 90s.
Take it back.
I don't know about you guys, but me, that was my favorite. Okay, when it was the 90s, I was like, okay, let's speed it up because I want to, become an adult and do what I need to do. But now that I'm here, I wish I could go back.
Totally.
So ladies, please tell me. I want to hear what you guys remember, what you guys loved. Me, I can remember when I was rocking the Sony Ericsson, the black and orange phone.
Yes.
They had infrared and you could just hold, you hold your phone with someone else.
Infrared. Yes.
Infrared.
That was, oh my God. Do you remember having to transfer songs from one person to the other? And someone had a song that you really wanted and it was like, infrared me.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh my God. I remember walking home from school and there'd be songs that I wanted my friend to send me. So we'd have to walk home together and then it would almost be done. I'm like, no, wait, don't leave it. It has to finish. Olga, what do you remember? Tell me, what do you remember? What did you like?
Yeah, I remember, for example, just on the phones, oh my gosh, the Nokia phone. And just being in class and playing snakes under the table.
Yeah.
And at the time when we didn't have touch screens, the teacher would be there, you'd be doing algebra or something like maths. And then all of a sudden you just hear click, 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 click.
Yeah.
The test. I never got the hang of that, by the way. I was terrible at texting.
That's when you did the double texting on Nokia. It's ABC was one button and yeah.
I don't know how people used to do that. I could never. And there's another thing, just going back to phones again, there was Motorola. And I remember watching iCarly and all that. And then Mean Girls, and they had the flip up phone. You were like, oh,
yes.
Hello,
I love them phones.
I love it.
It was just so when you hang up on the call, it's so, it just felt so
I'm so cool.
Jen, what phone did you have back then?
I was a Nokia girl, so Nokia 3310, and I pretty much, do you remember those Nokias where it had the clear back and you could design your own back on it? Oh, what was it? I think it was a 3200. I believe.
He even remembers the series.
I know, right?
Yeah. So you could change the skin of the back of it and you could design your own. And that was my favorite. And Olga, you said you couldn't text. I ended up mastering texting. I could text with my eyes closed. I was that good.
Thank you for touch screens because I was terrible. You'd be texting I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
I loved it, especially when you had do you remember Meteor 085 free calls, free texts?
Free calls, free texts, yes.
What was it? 20 was it 20 euros? 20 euro credit.
20 euros, yeah. And the call me messages when you didn't have credit. So you text call me and they called you back.
Yeah, sure. Vodafone did that. They did IOUs, didn't they?
IOUs.
I was always on minus. Constantly.
Yeah, you look like a Vodafone girl anyway. We were Meteor.
Vodafone for life. Don't be hating in your head. I was never Meteor. Hence why
I'm not going to lie yet.
It's just... Go on, Jen.
I had no loyalties. I was with everyone. I had Meteor. I had O2. I went to Vodafone at some point.
Wow.
I came back again.
Wow.
It was whoever gave me the best deal at that stage or whoever had the phone that I wanted.
Basically, you're a cheater. Sans position.
Yeah, that's me.
Literally.
No, I like the phone. I like the fact that we have different phones now because that's one thing I wouldn't want to change. I love our phones now. But going into, let's say, music was so different back then. Don't you guys agree?
Totally.
I think we had the best music, if I could say. I think, in my opinion, again, don't come at me, warriors, fighting warriors, people warriors. We had the best music back then. And now it's just, no offense, and I'm not saying that all music now is crap or whatever, but I just feel like in our era, we had music that was fun, you know what I mean? You could just dance to it. There was this, showing that. So, yeah.
The music was great. It was totally different. I think I agree with you. I think the music back then was the best music. Like, again, as Olga said, don't come for me. Even if you do, I don't care. But music now is good. But if you were to ask me to name like 4 or 5 rappers or singers, I wouldn't be able to.
No.
You know? And I think music now is going come and literally. And it's all the same. Whereas back then, music was different. It had like, it made up in that music, just made down, you know?
Yeah,
like when it came to R&B, rap, everything was just so different. Like, tell me a song that you guys can remember that was popping back then. Jen?
There was so much creativity back then, and you were like, this is banging of a tune, you know? Like, I look at what's there today, and I'm just like, what's this? I can't even. What's going on? Like, I remember back then when a song would come on, you knew exactly who it was. Now, when a song comes on, you're just like.
I think that there's a lack of, and I think Crystal said it, there's kind of a lack of originality and creativity as well.
Yeah.
So, of course, there are a lot of talented people again today, you know, talented artists and stuff like that. But back then, it was just something else. It was something different, you know.
I just feel like music is confused nowadays. Like, whereas, like, it's like you listen to one person, you listen to the other, and you think it's the same person. But back then, when you listen to Snoop Dogg, you know that's Snoop, you know that this is Lil Kim, you know that this is G-Unit, because it wasn't even just 50 Cent, it was G-Unit. You know, we knew who was who, and like it was just so original, as Olga said. So again, I want you guys to tell me what songs you remember that were popping back then. Like, let's go.
Well, you know what's going to mind.
Leave that.
Yes, leave that. I remember. Yes, that was a tune.
Yes, and then you've got Lean With It, Rock With It, Lean With It, Rock With It. Like,
oh my God,
honest, yes. Let's be honest. Songs back in the day, it wasn't just a song; it was a dance. You know?
Yeah. That's true. You know,
none of this dance. Like, I don't know what kind of dances people are doing these days.
The only time I actually see dances now is on TikTok, where it's like a trend, where people are doing a certain dance, you know,
challenge.
And it's basically dances are challenges now. But back then, you know, when this song comes on. Hey, everybody, 1 2 step. I'm 1 2 step because Sierra said so. You get me? But yeah, the dances back then were a lot more fun as well. Like, but back then, do you guys? Oh my God, do you guys remember chicken noodle soup? Please tell me you remember.
Chicken noodle soup. Remember chicken noodle soup. Now the thing is, like, I'm going to say, like, maybe people this generation, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so cheesy. Yeah, that's what made it fun. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the Macarena, the Cha-Cha slide, and who are these ladies again? I think, what was the name?
I'm probably doing it wrong.
Ketchup.
Las Ketchup. Yes. I said,
Las Ketchup.
I don't know the lyrics, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. So you were like, oh, it's cheesy or whatever, but that's what made it fun. So call us all fashions.
Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to
Dougie. Everybody Dougie.
Music was, you see, when music back then, is ain't a santimamoko. And it was, I want to say it was so innocent, but it was just so innocent, like chicken noodle soup. Come on.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's something that, for example, I would say like young kids can listen to, but nowadays you have these musicians where it's just profanity, and unfortunately there are young kids listening to that, and it's like it's not really relatable to you. Do you know what I mean? So I think growing up, we had music that was relatable to our age group. As you said, chicken noodle soup. It's an innocent song. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like now where it's like profanity, and I don't know. I just think it was the best time to have that kind of music.
For me, I prefer I actually let my kids listen to, or I would rather my kids listen to what I listen to rather than what they're listening to today. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I said, music back then was just a lot more innocent and a lot less profanity, as Olga had mentioned. So yeah. But going back to the dances, you guys remember the cha-cha slide?
Yes, that's like that is our party anthem. So every
Literally.
single party gathering that my family has, the cha-cha slide has to be played. If it's not played, it wasn't a party.
You weren't at a party, exactly. Oh my! But going back, let's go into Congolese music, right? Do you guys remember back then? Like,
Oh my!
You guys remember José Tita's concert?
Yes.
Marie Samu.
Yeah, Marie
Lambongo.
She was here. She was. Yeah. Lambongo.
She played at. It was the hall near to the next to the Red Cow Hotel. That's where it was.
Look at you with receipts and all.
No, like I remember that concert was big, but you know what? I will admit, I think my favorite concert would have been the Marine Sam concert. Olga mentioned that.
Yeah.
It was
to be honest, I loved what I wore to that concert. But the concert was okay.
What did you Sorry.
I remember I think the very first concert I went to was Mbuta Kamuka in it was in Thailand. And that was I think that was the very first concert I went to.
It was lit.
And another lit concert I remember I went to was, I think it was Odi Kabang, because Olivier Calabasi was there as well. I think he was an opening act or something like that. It was
that Odi Kabang when he came for the first time? Because he's been here a few times.
I don't remember. I remember that concert. Olivier Calabasi was there anyway, so that was a really good concert as well.
I don't remember him coming, actually. I remember him coming like recently. When I say recently, like not too long ago, but I didn't know he came with Olivier Calabasi back then.
Yeah, and he's been here a few times, so I think it depends on which concert you went to. I think I went to his second one, not necessarily the first one. But like on concerts, isn't it just such a pity that we can't, now, pandemic, COVID aside, in general, isn't it just such a pity that, we can't, or we haven't been having these concerts anymore? Like having something to go to attend to. Like it's nice having you see all the other concerts that are happening, your Little Mix these days and all these people have their concerts, but it's like the Congolese ones. It's great. I guess the good thing is that it's giving room as well for the up and coming artists of today within our generation. They're having their concerts and so on and so forth. But I will admit, I do miss the oldies. I do.
But I think even if we still had those type of concerts, it wouldn't have the same vibe that it had back then. Yeah. It just I think because everything is so basically so live on YouTube or whatever, the vibe is just different. Like it's just completely different. Like, because if we take José concert, as I mentioned, like do you guys remember he came on stage with an Irish flag around his neck? Yeah. And he was jumping around like some kind of kaku and all it is, But you will never see nowadays. It's all suited and booted, and you'll be like yes, through like charisme belé. But back then, because you can even tell that they were giving it everything. Like the vibe was just different. Yeah. But nowadays, and back then, it was specific. Like we had only a handful of gospel singers we knew. Like you said, Marie Mbuta, Tomalo Kofe, Deningo Matusa, like the Bazake Belete. But now there's so many.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't even keep up with them. Like I was talking to my sister, and I always I like to keep in touch with what's going on within the music world. And I always tell my sister, what's new? What's the latest that's out there? And like she was only telling me that that there's a new album being released by a new artist in Congo, and she named it, and I was just like, who?
Okay.
Cricket.
So
I feel the same. I feel
there's so many out there, and it's one of those you just don't know who you're listening to, because take for example, we were talking about the likes of Snoop Dogg, G Unit, and all that kind of stuff. You knew which person to listen to for a specific type of music,
Yeah.
Like your rap music was your G Unit, your if you wanted your hip hop, your R&B, you had your Destiny's Child, you had the old Rihanna. You had your Christina Milian and all that kind of stuff.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. I feel like today everyone's doing everything. So like even in the Congolese world, I'm like, who do I go to for my Seben music? Who do I go to for my worship music? Who do I go to for my louange music? Everyone's kind of just doing everything to kind of fit in. And it's just...
And just speaking on that, to make a point on what you just said, that's very true. You knew who to listen to for what reason. Even when it came to certain things, like, you know, for example, Neo and Usher were the breakup people. If you're going through a breakup, or you know, it's Neo or Usher. But if you think about,
like, no.
But nowadays, that music is like if you listen to like the breakup songs or whatever, it's like, I'm an independent woman, I don't need you. I get my own money. You know, it's like, what happened to Kobundula Mwasi? You know, Neo,
why can't I just cry?
So sick of love songs. You know, we don't get that anymore.
But just coming back to that, lady, do you think nowadays, this is kind of entre parenthèses, if I can say, do you think a lot of artists now are getting into music? It's not really for the love of the music and the artistry. It's more like quick fame. I want to be famous because money, you know what I mean? Do you feel, obviously, when you make money, you're using your talent as well to, you know, to make money as well. But do you feel like a lot of people are solely, you know, focusing on the money and the fame rather than the talent of sharing that talent, whether it be secular music or, you know, gospel music? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no,
I
totally.
definitely agree. Go ahead, Jen.
I just feel, and I think that's why the music of today, like we said earlier, it just doesn't bang, because there's no like creativity. They're not invested. Like back in the day, like you are waiting and waiting and waiting for a new song to drop, because, you know, they were spending time in it. They were mastering their craft, mastering their art, you know. But now, like you said, it's a quick fix. It's like, you know, let me drop this, let me drop that. And that creativity is just not there. And it's just like, everyone just sounds the same. It's like, I was listening to a song, not gonna name the song, but I was listening to a song, and when I listened to the beginning of it, I was just like, oh, this is so-and-so. And then when I actually heard, it's like, oh no, this is somebody else. And it's just like, you just copied somebody else, you know? And like, they just tweaked and they just changed it a little bit. I'm just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, I think, you know, what Genesis just said there, it's a quick thing. Because if you think about the artists back then, but however, you know, like YouTube wasn't popping like that. We were buying by CD, you know, but not so much by CD. But now, stream it on whatever platform, Spotify and this and that. So obviously they're making money easy. It's quick. But back then, all of them people were not travailler. My heart, they were bleeding sweat and tears to, you know, get this album out. And when the album came out, it banged. You get me? There was no way I wasn't going to listen to Fantasia or Keisha Cole and cry my heart out. You know what I mean? But nowadays, it's not like that. It's just quick. And they'll all hop into the studio. They all sound the same. And then they'll come out high-fiving each other like, yeah, job well done. You know, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. But what can you do? And I feel like it's just going to get worse. It's going to get much worse.
Ladies, do you remember, I don't know if it's just me, but I think it was every Friday or every Saturday, it was called Top of the Pops, or what was it called?
Yes!
Do you know what
Yes!
The Top of the Pops or something like that. Or Top of the Pops. Top of the Pops. And then you like wait the whole week and you'd be like, oh my gosh, Saturday, and you'd be waiting to see who's like, you know, number one on the charts and things like that. Just those things, you know. I mean, now it's like, oh yeah, you can go on YouTube and straight away. It just takes away from the whole kind of element of surprise and stuff like that. I think it's all about creating that atmosphere. We just don't seem to have it anymore, you know. So
yeah, and like Chris said, and like Chris said as well, like we used to have stacks of CDs, DVDs of all these artists. Like, I don't even know what a CD looks like.
Car journeys, ladies, car journeys. You have your CD album in the car, and you fight with your siblings what you're gonna play. It was literally a book of CDs. And you're like,
that little thing, and you're just going, you know, you're flipping the next second little book.
These days, we fight for the what you call it, the hooks or whatever.
The Oxford, the hooks, mama. Listen, guys, this
Most of our neighbors, we are going hooks.
I think this honestly deserves, like, you know, a second part, because we're going to be out here for ages. We've only touched on music and the type of phones we had, but there's so much more to touch on. So I think we're going to end it there. Again, we're leaving it out to you guys. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Comment down below, especially. Let us know what you remember from the 90s if we've missed out on anything, because there's so much to remember and so much to talk about. But do let us know. Give us ideas, give us suggestions, and tell us what exactly you remember and what you like the most. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of Melanin Meetings. Thank you.
Bye.